Hey, what's up, guys? It is Rapmark here. So, doing finally my review for Scream 6. And let me tell you, I actually really enjoyed this film. This film, it tried new things, new location. It was super fun. Uh, for most of it. So I'll say that. You still have the ridiculousness. You still have, things that don't make sense. Whatever. Uh, but yeah, the first two acts, like, I was, I was thoroughly enjoying this. Like, this thing would have got like I was thinking this was going to be a 9 or 10. And Scream One is the only of the Scream movies that I've ever given a 10 to. And that was before I was doing live reviews. I mean, it's freaking Scream though. Like I'd review in my head, but yeah. After that, they kind of got increasingly ridiculous. I still like Scream Two and kind of Scream 3. It was getting a little ridiculous by Scream 3, and honestly, by Scream 4, I'm just like, please let this franchise die. Like, oh my god, goodness gracious. But they're still making it out, and honestly, like, how slasher slash horror films go. When you've hit the sixth incineration, you're going into some pretty low hanging fruit and just terrible you know writing and acting and everything. But this sort of broke that trend. I was having a good time through all of it. I didn't mind the camp at the end. I didn't mind as much the camp at the end, because again, literally, like, the first 3 quarters of this movie is just you you are fully invested and entertained. Like, this movie has, like, actual tension. It plays things really intelligently. It doesn't treat its audience like it's dumb for the most part. Again, I'll get to, like, what I'm talking about in spoilers with it when it comes to that. But the performances were amazing. Like, again, Melissa Barrera as Sam, and Jenna Ortega as her sister Tara do an amazing job. And again, you have a lot of the survivors from the last one in this. You have Mindy, her brother Chad. Um, yeah, and those are pretty much the survivors. So, and then you have some new people. You have this Quinn Bailey, uh, who is Sam's roommate, or no, she's Tara's roommate. Uh, well, Sam and Tara's roommate. So I guess they're living together. But anyway, yeah, and she's very pro sex. I'll tell you that right now. Um, and then you have Wayne, who is a detective. Let's see who plays. Oh yeah, and then Ethan Landry, who is Chad's roommate. So a few new people. You also have an Anika, who is Mindy's girlfriend. Um, so you have some new people here. Again, it starts out really strong. Like, it actually tries new things. And again, we're in New York. Like, this is totally, we have left the original, like, small town of Woodsboro, uh, and we're now in New York. So yeah, we're going crazy. Um, and yeah, just Courtney Cox also makes an appearance in here, as well as Hayden Panettiere. I I'm gonna struggle to pronounce this. So Hayden Pantier, I believe, is how it is pronounced. It is what it is. And this actually marks kind of her return from a hiatus she's had, which is super cool because she was from Scream 4, which was 2011's, and yeah, um, there is some CGI in here, which I will talk to about in spoilers, which uh, does not look so good. It's kind of awkward. But no, for the most part, I was completely immersed into this story. And again, I had a higher allowance for when things kind of did, fall apart. Um, because of it, Again, I enjoyed all the characters. I enjoyed the tension, the actual tension that was here. I like how smart they played certain things. And man, they freaking played like fan theories. Like they hinted to every fan theory you could imagine that has ever been said about Scream. It's in this movie. They mention a lot. Uh, and yeah, there's one thing that really pisses me off about this movie, but I can't get into it here because that would be a spoiler. I will get into it in spoilers, and that'll be the first thing I mention. Um, but yeah, like again, this was a lot better than I thought it would be. And if it wasn't for the 25% where things just really fell apart, and you're just like, why would you do this? Um, I probably could have given this a 9 or a 10. This was really, really good and really entertaining. Which for again a sixth iteration of a franchise, that's really rare. So, but no, I'm still giving this an 8. This was still a really good time. And again, because I was so invested, by the time things started to kind of fall apart, I kind of gave it more allowance than I probably would have if it had been like 5. And I'm just like, yeah, this just ain't working for me because it was just super meta and super just not well executed. But anyway, yeah, this one I am definitely going to give a 8 out of 10. This is a super fun watch, and I know this is a little bit late, but if you have a chance to see it in theaters, you should. This is a good watch, fun. It is definitely worth your money. Uh, so yeah, I would invite you to go see that. So anyway, I think that is going to cover it for the non-spoiler section. Really short. Again, there's things I want to mention, but I can't because they are kind of spoilery. But we'll get to that in spoilers here in a minute. So anyway, until then, I'll see you guys then. See ya. Hey guys, it is Rapmark here. So doing the spoiler section of the new Scream 6 movie. So I'm just gonna say right now, the thing that upset me the most about this was towards the end, and their inability to kill legacy characters. Like all of the quote unquote core four survived. I don't know how. Like, geez, with the amount of like stabbings that have happened, I don't know how. Courtney Cox lives, and it's just like, come on. So yeah, it kind of pissed me off. I'll get into it later, but honestly, this I love the fact that they did so much new things. Because again, you start off, you are literally having Hugo Weaving's daughter, be the first victim, uh, and after she's killed, like she's waiting for a date, and she gets pulled into a dark alley. Just like this is someone who's like into horror films in a big way, and she literally gets talked into this by some stranger. But whatever. Um, but yeah, she gets killed, and who is it? It is Jason Carvey is who it says it is, but it is played by the same actor who plays a Flash. Oh my goodness gracious, I am totally blanking out in the Spider-Man movies. Whatever. And yeah, it was. Let me see. Can I find him here real quick? Yeah. All right. So yeah, Flash Thompson. Good God, I can't believe I couldn't remember that. Anyway, uh, so yeah, but then he removes his face or his mask, and you're kind of left wondering, whoa, what is going on here? Because it's never revealed like that quickly. Um, and then he goes back home, talking to friends, all that kind of stuff. And then he gets a phone call, and he thinks it's his roommate, who is a Greg, who he thinks is just he's in the voice, he's just playing with him, and they play a game of hot and cold. And let me tell you, like after we saw his face, I saw this with a friend of mine, and we're just like, I'm gonna be so glad when he dies, because again, if you know the rules and you follow the Scream movies for a while, you kind of see it's formulaic, but they did in a good way that kind of did keep you guessing. And yeah, it kind of threw us off, but no, we knew he was gonna die. And yeah, he discovers no, his roommate's dead. He got butchered and put into the freezer or fridge, and then he gets stabbed. And it's just like, no, we have to finish his movie, Richie Kursk's movie. Uh, and the kid was just like, who cares about a fucking movie? But yeah, so who are the killers? Let's go into that. So because we're gonna talk a lot about this. So who does it turn out being? It ends out being the the cop Wayne and Ethan Landry, uh, Chad's roommate, as well as Sam and Tara's roommate, Quinn. And so we have three Ghostface here, which is another first. Um, and then that attack, like, so that's the first one we start off as, and I'm not sure if I established who that actually was, but yeah, there's a couple of attacks where it's just like, come on, are you serious? So Wayne and his daughter are the ones who do the most kills in this film because, again, his son is just like sitting there, like most of the time, like out in the open. So he doesn't really get involved until toward the end. it just it's super weird. What is their reason for? It is so that they can complete a shrine which they built to his son and their sibling Richie Kirsch, and that's why it's just it's crazy, but honestly, it was a lot of fun. And yeah, so the very next thing that we have is, we have again the Chad and Mindy, as well as Sam and Tara, and obviously their roommates, and then Mindy's girlfriend Annika. So introducing everyone, all the new characters, essentially. Um, but I mean, again, the detective, he says things, and then Quinn says some things, which kind of leads you to suspect them immediately. And so again, if you know the rules and you pay attention to like dialogue and like s- certain things said, you can guess who the killers are real quick in this movie. 20 minutes in, um, we strongly suspected that it was them, but there was a conspiracy theory out there, like a fan theory, that um, the actor that played Stu had disappeared from some events at about the same time this movie was filming, and that he was going to be the killer. That was not the case, unfortunately. It was kind of disappointing. It would have been a solid 10 out of 10, regardless of how it would if that had happened. But no, it was not him. Uh, so that was a little disappointing. I don't. It doesn't lose points for it, but man, it again they reference so many fan theories in this film. It was insane. But yeah, I mean, the first attack literally happens at a bodega, and you know Sam gets called from essentially Richie's number, and a Ghostface attacks them, and they go into the store, and this is another first for the Scream, our first like mass murder scene. He fucking like stabs one dude, tears apart another dude, and I'm thinking it's the dad that's doing this because just the way he moves and stuff like that. Because I mean, size unfortunately doesn't matter. Like Ghostface is always the same height. It's a different actor entirely that plays Ghostface. It's whatever. It leads to those inconsistencies where I'm just like, I get it, but it's still bad. But whatever. It's a nitpick. I still enjoyed this. This was one of my favorite scenes because again, you had tension in this scene, and then the owner of the store has a shotgun. Ghostface manages to get away, or what? Does he? No, no. I think he gets like like knocked out. So in this movie, Ghostface gets like kicked and hit multiple times in the face. Like there's a couple of times where Ghostface gets knocked out, like unconscious. And yeah, none of them when they reveal themselves like has anything wrong with them. It's a little bizarre considering how much Ghostface actually got pummeled in this movie. It was, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, he grabs the shotgun, stabs the owner, and then as he goes down, he grabs the shotgun and then blasts him. Like you don't see the full thing on set, but you see the blood splat. Like it was pretty brutal. It was. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty damn cool. And then you have him like hunting him down. But then he gets away. So, and that's when you go to the station. And apparently, after each attack, a different ghost face mask is left behind on the scene. Like the first one. Oh yeah, the ghost face of the previous years was on the first scene, and this one was from Screen 4, 2011 Woodsboro killings. And that's where they meet Kirby Reed, who was a survivor, but I'm pretty sure she died in I could be remembering this wrong. I mean, this movie was 12 years ago. I could be remembering this wrong, but I was pretty sure she died. And I do rewatch the Scream movies every now and again, and so does my friend. She was pretty sure that she died. Um, so yeah, a little weird, but we'll roll with it. Um, and then Gail Winters, so she made a book for writing it on their experiences, which she said she wouldn't do. So they haven't talked to her for a while, and so they kick her out of the group. She's by herself, and then Sydney. So on that, Campbell, she was not being offered enough. It was a pay dispute. They weren't giving her enough. Honestly, she deserves it. Whatever. But again, with her out of it, um, these characters did kind of come into their own. So whether or not she'll come back again or whatever, but yeah, we don't know. We don't know. But there is going to be apparently more screams, especially after this one because this one made a shit ton of money. Uh, yeah. So anyway, they established this thing of where they're going to uh, try to get Ghostface in public. They're going to be out in public, try to get him. And then Kirby traces a call made to Sam and tracks him down in 15 seconds. It's nowhere near where they are. It's on the other side of town. It's where Gail lives. So she's there with her freaking big boyfriend. Um, and she gets a call, and she's just like, hasn't ended well for the last few people who've attacked me, and not so. And you see her boyfriend get stabbed and dragged back, and then thrown through a bookcase. So here's the problem with that scene in my mind. It has to be the daughter. It has to be because the kid is in the van and the father is the kid's in like the public with the group, the core four as they're called. Um, and the dad is in the van. So it has to be the little girl. And I'm just like, again, we have this inconsistency of just like, how is Ghostface able to be this strong, this aggressive, this tall, and be this little college girl. I don't know. It's again, like I said, it's one of those inconsistencies that just drives me fucking crazy. Oh, but I forgot another attack. So Dr. Stone. So Sam is seeing a Dr. Stone for therapy, but she talks mostly about her sister's inability to want to get help. Um, and then when he finally does open, she does open up to him, and it's just like, yeah, I'm not equipped to deal with this. And yeah, he pretty much says, I can't see you anymore. Uh, and it's just like, damn, that sucks. But he gets murdered through a ghost face coming through, stabs through like. So it's one of those screen, like not a screen door, but a door where, you have the iron sort of bar trellises kind of thing. Um, and I guess it's plexiglass or is it actual glass? I don't know. But yeah, punches right through it into his face. And man, it's beautiful. That's another thing I will say for this movie. The kills are actually highly satisfactory when they come. It just sucks that it's all randos and newbies and none of the fucking legacy characters. So anyway, back to the attack on Gail Weathers. She gets attacked. She makes it into a safe room, grabs a gun, and the locking mechanism kind of makes no sense. It does, like I can get that they're trying to establish that she's kind of freaked out, but this thing had like what 3-4 buttons, and I'm just like, this has happened to you multiple times, Gail. Like, come on now. But anyway, so she talks to the killer on the phone, and then it's just like cuts off the call, does redial, and the noise is just being super loud, and the door is being punched, and she grabs the gun, shoots it 3 times into the door, and I swear I hear a grunt as if Ghostface was hit at least once. Maybe there's a bulletproof vest. I don't know. But yeah, again, once they're revealed, all of the people who played Ghostface were freaking blemishless. They had the cleanest, prettiest faces you could imagine. And Ghostface got fucking beat the shit out of in this movie. And yeah, she opens the door, gets jumped, gets stabbed multiple times. Last one, like, right into the gut. I don't know, in the ribs. It went up into her. It's what it looked like to me. I could be wrong, but I mean, this was not a light stabbing. This should have been a terminal kill. And you know what? Fine. She kind of fucked up. You write their book. You kind of screwed over Sam and Tara. You get to die. And Dewey died last time, so it's just like, all right, we got this. No, after so Sam and Tara finally get there. They get the gun, and Ghostface manages to get away. Like after being shot at. So yeah, Quinn is super quick. Anyway, but yeah, once the ambulance gets there, and other cops are just like, she has a pulse, and that was the first sort of sigh moment for me, because I'm just like, come on, in as much as I like the twins, and I didn't want them to die, I will also say that Chad should have died as well. I'll get into that in a moment. But no, Courtney should have died. It was a low blow. I would have had so much more respect for that. This film would have easily gotten at least a 9 if they had killed her. possibly a 10 because I would have been like, you know what, you're willing to kill your legacy characters, all right. But no, they fucking yeah let her live, and it was just like, oh, that's kind of sucks. Oh my gosh, I entirely forgot. Or wait, did I? Hold on, I need to make sure. I've lost my train of where I was in the movie. Oh yeah, so we got. Oh yeah, I forgot. So yeah, there was attack in the apartment. So after Dr. Stone is murdered, Sam's boyfriend, like, so Quinn is talking to someone on the phone, and Sam has a boyfriend who lives across the sort of in a different wing of the apartment, whatever. And he watches Ghostface go to kill Quinn. And apparently, there's a guy she's with as well who also dies. Um, but yeah, it was brutal. Like it was a good scene. Like you hear this screaming and you think it's just like, oh, she's just getting nailed again. But no, it stops and then her body gets thrown out. Um, it's not like it's her, but she's not dead because she's one of the ghost faces, obviously. Um, and then the guy she's with, he's dead in the bathroom. You find that out later. Um, but Ghostface comes through, and I'm guessing this. I think it was the brother that did this, but it could have been the dad because the dad was the first to arrive. Where was the brother in all this? Um, I don't know. It was one of those two. Uh, I need to see it again. It's been a couple of days, so a little hazy, but yeah, I it obviously wasn't Quinn, but I think it was the dad because no. Anyway, it was one of those two. Regardless, um, so Mindy's girlfriend, Annika, gets stabbed and literally in the gut and up. Like it gets pulled up to her chest. And I'm just like, man, you are bleeding a lot. You should not be able to move, let alone like the amount of blood you're losing. Mindy gets stabbed in the shoulder. Again, her shoulder gets no love in the movie she's been in. Man, her shoulder is strong as balls. Because I think that's the same shoulder she was stabbed in the first one too. So anyway, they get out through a ladder that Sam's boyfriend provides. So first Sam goes. Tara and someone else like actually get out of are out of the apartment, but everyone else they got separated and then it got dead bolted. So yeah, and yeah, so Sam goes across, then Mindy, and then Annika tries to go across, and again, like I'm just like, you got to be so like weak with all the blood you've lost, let alone the fact that you are literally have an open, gaping wound. You're gonna have a septic infection at some point as well. But whatever. She gets on the ladder, can't make it across. She gets scared, and then Ghostface breaks in grabs the ladder and just starts slamming it down. Eventually knocks Annika off, hits her head on a dumpster and just goes splat like a friggin' melon. It was beautiful. But yeah, and then that's that. Ghostface disappears. So yeah, I forgot about that one. So then we go after that. So Wayne is taken off the case, but he's going to help the group avenge his daughter. Like again, it tries to throw you off, and it is clever. But again, if you pay attention to like dialogue and all, like you already suspect at this point because it pretty much gave the game away within 20 minutes of the film. So just letting you know on that. But it was still super fun, and I liked that they were actually trying to be clever, and it was done intelligently. Um, but yeah, Gail apparently finds to like a cinema, an abandoned cinema, which was set up as a shrine to the ghost face killers. So, and again, it doesn't make sense that a cop and his family would be able to afford this, but I think it was something was said like the two people that were killed at first were like trust fund kids or something like that, and they were the ones who actually bought it because I think it was in their name that Gail found it, and not through because they still didn't suspect the officer and the other two. So I think that's how that worked out. Um, but yeah, so we go back to the apartment scene, and yeah, it's like he's tormenting her about Dewey and before killing the boyfriend, attacking her, and again arrived just in time. Like again, the stab, it should have been fatal. Like it was right up in there. I don't under. I mean, I get it. She's an executive producer. She wants to still be in. Like, oh my gosh. Ugh. Gail should have 100% died in this movie. There's no reason she should be alive, and that's why it loses a point for me on that one. Um, and then anyway, they are going to meet with Kirby after that to trap Ghostface. They decide that they are going to go out in the open and go via the subway. Uh, and they know how important it is to stay together, but they get separated. Ethan and Mindy get separated, and they have to go on to a later train. And she's the one who's just like, I totally suspect you. And she, again, like when they were talking about suspects, pointed to Quinn and just like, red redheaded slut. Oh, I totally like she had it right the entire time. But again, like when she's talking to them about this, it's just like, I forget what the phrase she used, but it's just like, bigger budget, more deaths, and there were a lot of deaths in this movie. There were a ton of deaths in this movie. It was glorious, and the deaths were great. Literally, Scream's first mass murder scene. It was amazing. Legacy characters don't matter, which they should have respected that. They should have respected that because they did matter in this one because they all lived and for fucking dumb reasons. Ugh. Anyway, so they go there, and it's stuck to where once you go in, you can't get out. Um, and then Wayne, the father, calls, saying that Kirby was fired from the FBI for being mentally unstable. That is confirmed to be not true. And then while Tara and Chad are talking, because there is sort of an illusion that they like each other in this one, and they talk and they go and they kiss, and it's just like, all right, you failed the virgin check, so you got to die now. And man, two Ghostface, and I think it's the two siblings this time because the cop is still himself at this point. So, uh, and they stab him multiple times over and over. Like, I swear, like 8 times he was stabbed, and he fucking lives. It's like, this is what the fuck. But the subway scene. So Mindy, another thing. I'm glad she didn't die. She probably should have died. But man. Anyway. So she is stuck there with Ethan. And then, there's a few people in there with Ghostface because everyone freaking, relishes in that kind of stuff, whatever. And while they're in a tunnel, Ghostface goes in front of her, covers her mouth, stabs her. So I'm thinking this also has to be the daughter. The daughter has a lot of fucking good kills in this one, and it makes no sense for it to be her because she is a fairly small person. Anyway, but yeah, she gets stabbed. And again, she probably should have died. I'm glad she didn't. I do like Mindy and I do like Chad, but Chad definitely should have died. There's no reason he should have lived, and also Gail. So again, they didn't respect their own saying of legacy characters don't matter. And that is the thing that costs this movie a couple points. I mean, again, it got really ridiculous toward the end, but I mean, these movies do, and I'm fine with it. But anyway, Kirby and Wayne both arrive with guns drawn. No one knows who it is. He's trying to say it's Kirby. Kirby is trying to say it's him. He shoots her, and then the reveal is, yeah, it's him and his two kids, and they are the family of the killer in the last one, which kind of makes sense because Scream 5 was called Scream, and it played a lot of the narratives a lot like the original Scream. This one, Scream 2, with Billy Loomis's mother. Yeah, same kind of themes, but done differently, which I did enjoy and I did like. Again, this is a fun movie. This is a movie you should see, but I have to point out as with a critical eye, like things that are wrong with it. So there you go. Um, and yeah, so he does the whole monologue, the killer monologue. And essentially they're going to frame Sam because apparently Quinn was the one who set out a rumor via social media that she had masterminded the whole thing and that Richie was innocent. And yeah, again, it was done very intelligently. Like I really enjoyed it. Um, but then the dad just sort of disappears. It's so weird. Like the two kids are the main fighters in this, and the dad kind of does some stuff, but he just vanishes. Like you go up to the railing, and it's just like that's an exit. It's not an exit. But yeah, they run into the kids. Quinn has a knife, and something happens to where Tara is knocked off. and Ethan's down with a knife, and she's just like, let me go, because she's having trouble letting go. It's yeah. So she lets him go. She gets stabbed again because she was stabbed a first time. Uh, in the same thing. And Kirby, for that matter, as well, gets stabbed again. In addition to being shot, she gets stabbed a second time in the same hole, and it played it up. It was real. It was a little strange, but yeah. Um, but anyway, so Tara takes a knife and then proceeds to fight Ethan off, and then puts the knife into his mouth, out the back of his head or neck, whatever, and takes care of him. And then uh, Sam grabs the gun, blasts Quinn in the face, and again, the father is behind her with a gun, a fair distance away. He doesn't shoot. She just mad dashes toward him, and he shoots at the last minute, but it's already knocked away. And it's just like, what are you doing? This is it made no sense. But anyway, after that, she grabs again her father's, because she's Billy Loomis's illegitimate child. She grabs his mask, and they calls Wayne, and does the whole voice thing, and then gets stabbed multiple times. And then it looks like she's going to let him live. But nope. Tara sort of like nods her head at her, and just bam. And they both seem to be like kind of enjoying themselves for, like, again, killing somebody. So I don't know how that's going to play in future movies, but obviously it will. And then Ethan is still alive. But Kirby gets up from being shot and stabbed, and smashes his head with the same television that killed Stu, on his head. So kills him, and that's that. Oh yeah, and as he's telling him this, like, he says after they're killed, they have to go to the hospital and finish off to kill Mindy, Chad, and Gail. So they all made it. Chad is just like, core four as he's walked away, and it's just like, you should not be alive, dude. Like, and that's the only real thing that I absolutely did not like about this movie is, again, everything was done so well, but then in the third act it kind of fell apart. And again, because the legacy characters had plot armor, it felt like I didn't have as much respect for it, and so it did upset me, and that was that. Anyway, so as they walk away, Sam says she'll let her go, Tara go, and be more independent. And Tara's just like, she wants to be in life, and she will go into therapy. And then Mindy, Chad, and Kirby are taken to the hospital. Mindy apparently is back from the hospital, all patched up. She's fine for being stabbed in the stomach, I guess. And then Sam stares at her father's ghost face mask, and me and my friend were just like, I would not be opposed if she became the villain next time, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna play it. She discards it and follows her into and that's it. So again, this is a really, really good movie. I had a really good time watching it. I just wish that they didn't have so many of the legacy characters survive after getting multiple wounds. It's like knives in this movie don't do shit except if you're a rando or a new person on the in the movie. It was kind of ridiculous. And yeah, that's what brought it down to 2 points. Otherwise, this honestly would have been a 9 or 10. Like this movie was really that good, and I was really enjoying it. And then it kind of fell apart for me at the end. So anyway, that is my thoughts on Scream 6. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. See ya.